Okay, let's start our class today. So we have completed SDLC based phases and SDLC models, SDLC phases, requirement design, coding, testing, deployment phases and models, SDLC models, waterfall model, V model, spiral model, uh, remaining what are the prototype model, rapid application development model. All models we have completed, testing methodologies, techniques we have completed. So we have covered all these things, right? Static testing, dynamic testing, functional testing, regression, non retesting. So now from today onwards, what we'll learn is complete STLC. STLC and each phase of STLC will cover and all these things. Okay. So very important classes. Okay. We'll learn each phase of STLCs and test planning, test designing, and we'll start writing test cases from maybe tomorrow or else on from Wednesday onwards. Okay. So we'll start with STLC phases now. So we have learned SDLC phases. So can anyone say me what are SDLC phases? Team Jaya or Karnakar, what are SDLC phases?
Requirement analysis, design, coding, testing, and implementation.
Yeah.
The requirement analysis phase includes the requirements of the customer or the client for the particular application.
Okay.
The next is the design phase, in which the design architect designs the application. And then next one is the coding, in which the developer develops the code. And next is testing, in which the tester tests the application which is being developed by the developer. The next is implementation, where all the testing is completed and then the product is being deployed.
Yes, exactly. Very good. So these are the SDLC phases. So requirement phase, design phase, code phase, test phase. So here our role is a testing phase. Okay, testing. So this testing phase also contains different steps. Different. It is also having a process to complete the testing process. So when a with requirement and design phase, when a developer and a QA person involves in requirement and uh, okay, we say here tester. Okay, a developer and a tester. Okay, both will involve here, and in coding phase only developer will involve. Okay, in testing phase tester only will involve, and in implementation phase both developer and tester. So here in requirement design, all these phases where tester is involving is called as QA, quality analyst. Okay, and only in testing phase, when a tester is involved only in testing phase, QC, and when he is being done with automation, he is called as QE. Right, we have discussed these things: quality analyst, quality engineer, quality controller. Okay, so here in testing phase we have different phases. This is also having a big process is there. So in that same as SDLC, in SDLC also we have requirement analysis phase, test planning phase, test design phase, environmental setup phase, and test execution phase and test closure phase. So in the requirement analysis phase, we do analyze the requirements. So analyzing the requirements means we go through some documents and we analyze that. We do what we need to do. We understand what we need to do, what type of testings we need to be done, what are how we need to proceed. Those all things will be understanding. We will be understanding about the software what we are going to develop, and then planning. We plan uh, uh, how to do testing, what to do testing, who to do testing. So these all things will be planned, like in what software we need to do testing. uh, and then coming to test design, here in test design phase, we prepare test cases, we prepare test data, and environmental setup phase, we set up the environment, in which environment we need to do testing, where we need to do testing. Okay. And then coming to test execution, in this test execution phase, we do execution of the test cases which we have designed in test design phase. So here in test execution, if you find any defects, we'll send them to development team. Okay, we'll send them to development team. They will fix it, defects, and they'll send back again. We'll again retest those things, retest the defects what we have done, and then if everything looks good from here to here, then we will give a test closure report. So at the time of test closure, we see all the test cases are passed, all defects are closed, we have covered all the requirements, all 100% coverage has been done. We verify all those things and we do test closure report. So once the report is completed, testing activity is being completed. That's all. Ours is done. Okay. Then they go for implementation phase. And in implementation phase, if they found any issues in live environment in alpha testing or well in beta testing, or if they find any issues, they'll again come back. That would be a different process again. So for this is a complete. So this is also very big process, right? So now we will learn each phase in detail. So in requirement phase, there are different types of documents are there. We need to understand uh, BRS document, SRS document, FRS document, RCN, RTM, business requirement specifications, software system requirement specifications, functional requirement specifications, requirement clarification note, requirement traceability matrix. These documents are there in requirement analysis. In test planning, we have test strategy document, test plan document. In test design, we have test cases, test scenarios, test data. In an environmental setup, we don't have any documents. In test execution also, we don't prefer any documents. In execution, we have bug life cycle related, defect life cycle, defect related documents. And test closure report will be there. Okay, test closure report. So we need to understand all these documents. We need to study all these documents. Okay, so we'll go one by one. STLC, okay, software testing life cycle. So requirement phase. Okay, before that, we learned two important terms are there. Okay, one is entry criteria and exit criteria. Okay, entry criteria and exit criteria. So what are these two? Entry criteria. So entry criteria means a set of preconditions, a set of preconditions to start an activity is called entry criteria. Means to start anything, any basic work, we need to have some conditions, preconditions. Before starting, we need to have some preconditions. Preconditions means we need to have some knowledge, we need to have some documents to start the work, right? So that is called as entry criteria. Okay, entry criteria of entry criteria of the document. So, for example, in requirements specifications, requirement analysis phase, the entry criteria should be documents, SRS, BRS, FRS. Like that, there is a exit criteria also. So, when we enter, we need to get out, right? When we give some input, we need to get some output, right? So, for that, exit criteria also is there. So, before that, what are the entry criteria for system testing? entry criteria for system testing. What we need to verify when we do, what are the preconditions we need to cross check before we start our testing? One important thing is all requirements or requirement related documents or requirement related documents are reviewed and approved. So all requirement documents should be approved. Without approval, we cannot start work. Okay, next 100% unit testing and integration testing if required. Integration testing should be completed and successful. So without unit testing and integration testing, we cannot start our testing. Okay, functional testing cannot be started without unit testing, because in unit testing or integration testing, if developers only find some issues, and then what is the purpose of we doing testing again, writing test cases again, doing test execution? There is a time waste, right? Third point is like all test cases prepared should be reviewed and approved. So all test cases should be reviewed and approved. So fourth point is like all defects. Okay, we'll this one will be something like exit criteria. Okay, so these are some important points in entry criteria. Then coming to exit criteria. Exit criteria means a set of post conditions. Okay, understand here, set of post conditions. In entry criteria, it is preconditions. In exit criteria, it is a set of post conditions. To stop an activity is called exit criteria. Means we are doing testing. We are doing testing on an application. We are keep on executing or keep on working. So where should we stop? There should be some rule to stop, right? There should be some conditions. So once you reach here, you should stop testing. So like that, there are some exit criteria for system testing or preconditions for system testing. Such one is all test cases should be executed and passed successfully. So here see, in entry criteria, they should be reviewed and prepared. They should be reviewed and approved. Okay. In exit criteria, they should be executed and passed. So if they are not, all test cases are not passed or all test cases are not executed, what we have written for a particular application for a particular module, then our task is not completed. So we cannot stop testing. We need to do our activity still. Okay. Also, like all major defects should be fixed and closed. Or not only major defects, you can say like all defects. You can say all defects should be fixed and closed. So there should not be any defects which are still need to be done retesting or still need to be fixed. So if that is there, we cannot complete our testing. Okay, last is like uh, when time is running out. When time is running out means there is an emergency for delivery. So we can say that we can do the fixes or all those things in next build. So now for now we'll move it. This is one point. So these are the entry criteria and exit criteria for any project work. Okay. So what are the different phases? Are you clear here? Entry criteria, exit criteria. Any questions? test closure. So these are the different phases. Okay, now we'll go through one by one. Okay. So here, if you see this one, so this in software testing life cycle, this is the first phase requirement analysis. Okay. So in this first phase requirement analysis, we can see here requirement documents, SRS, BRS, FRS, RCN documents. So the first stage is requirement analysis and the entry criteria. So the entry criteria for requirement analysis is we need to have different documents, BRS, SRS, FRS documents. These documents should be there. So once these documents are there, we can work on this phase. Like we can verify. So we can verify what is happening like here. See here, FRS document, all these things are there. And second is functional functional. So second point is like it should have these documents consider both functional and non-functional information. So requirement documents. What are all these documents? I'll explain you one by one. Each document will go through. And next entry criteria is acceptance criteria should be defined. What we need to test. What is our output? We need to test the acceptance criteria is being defined, and if any architectural documents are there, we will have it. Okay, so these are the entry criteria. So entry criteria for requirement analysis. So if these documents are there, these inputs are there, then only we can analyze the requirements. Then only we can understand what the project we are working on. So okay, we got the entry documents. All entry criteria are satisfied. Now what we need to do? What is our activity here? So our activity here is analyzing the business functionalities to know the business modules and module specific functionalities. We'll analyze all the functionalities in detail by going through each and every document. Like we identify all the modules, all the transactions, what are the profiles we need to have, how we need to go, what are the interfaces, and what are the authentications we need to give, what are the geographical requirements for this one. Is it a globalization or localization? We'll identify different types of tests to be performed. Different types of tests means is it, for example, functional testing only is required or non-functional testing also is required? So if functional testing is required, what all we need to cover? Like we need to cover end-to-end testing, retesting, regression testing, functional testing, all smoke testing, sand testing. So all these to be covered, or like we can skip something, or we need to add some more testings. Any other methods are there, and we'll prioritize our testing. Priorities would be differentiated, would be distinguished here, and then we prepare the requirement traceability matrix. Requirement traceability matrix means the mapping of requirements and test cases is called as requirement traceability matrix. I'll explain you that one in next slide. Okay, and we'll get all the environmental details here in this activity. We'll find out what all the environmental details. So this responsibility is for test manager, QA manager, QA lead to understand, to go through all the documents, to understand, make sure everything works as per requirements. Even test members, testing team members also would be in the team, would be going through these documents, but their duty means like QA. So QC doesn't involve in going all these things. So he will be given the user story, he will be given the application, he will be explained. So he will work on the writing test case and execution. But always a tester's main purpose is to understand business in detail. See, I'm saying you specifically, I'm saying each and every tester, you need to understand business requirements very clearly to survive in the industry. What is the difference between a fresher and an experienced person is understanding of the business. Okay, that's the most important point you need to keep in your mind. Okay, and the exit criteria. So what are the exit criteria for this one? Okay, exit criteria is signing of RTM, requirement traceability matrix, and test automation feasibility report. If any test automation is there, if any in the requirements, when you go through the requirements, if we come across that there is a regression testing, more of the regression testing is required, so we need to have a automation. Some automation need to be done for regression testing. Means then we'll prepare a feasibility report. So what all we can do, what all we cannot do. Here testing is possible, automation is possible or not. If possible, what all we can do, which modules we can cover under this one. So those all report will be prepared. So this is the exit criteria. And what is the what is the deliverables of this one? Deliverables means output. Okay, what are the deliverables? What we get from this one requirement analysis? We get is requirement traceability matrix, and one is requirement traceability matrix, and another is automation feasibility report. Okay, these two are the deliverables. These two are the deliverables for requirement analysis document. So we'll go in detail of each document. So clear here, you got it. What all need to be done? So BRS, SRS, FRS, these all documents need to be gone through, understand our activities to understand what all need to be done, and then prepare the traceability matrix, and then exit criteria would be signing off that traceability matrix, right? So we'll see what is a traceability matrix is, requirement traceability matrix is. Guys, if you have any questions, please ask or post, right? Don't keep in yourself only, because very important these all are. So here uh, in our this one, we have said that we are preparing requirement traceability matrix need to be prepared, right? So what is requirement traceability matrix? The requirement traceability matrix means, see, for example, there is a functionality called login functionality is there. Okay, consider there is a login functionality is there. Okay, so for this login functionality, consider this one as R1. There are multiple test cases are there. We have written 5 test cases for this. So now once you are going through the requirement document, okay, you have observed one requirement, that is user login. So login functionality is one requirement. That like that you have found many requirements while going through the this one, like R1, R2, R3. There are some R20 requirements are there, and each requirement consists of 5. One R1 consists of 5 test cases, R2 consists of 10 test cases, and R20 consists of 30 test cases, say for example. So altogether from R1 to R20 there are some hundreds of test cases are there. So how do you know that which test case is related to which one? And how do you know that are you covering all the requirements mentioned in this? Means you have shortlisted the requirements, but how do you know that that requirement has been tested or not? You have written some test cases, you have done some test execution, but how do we know that we have covered each and every requirement what we have identified? How do we know? Not only we, how do our manager understand, or how do a layman newly joined person will see that, if anyone come, why this login requirement is not been mapped here, means that is it tested, it is not tested or what? He'll say. So for that what we do is, for a particular requirement, see for this here, like R1 requirement is there, for this R1 requirement we have 5 test cases, right? One is valid username and password, valid username and invalid password, invalid username and password, forget password, some invalid username and valid password. So we will map these 5 test cases to a requirement. Okay, we will map these 5 test cases to a requirement, so that when we are going through the requirements, we see that all test cases, all requirements are covered. Means in our test management tools, say ALM or Qtest or Qualify, any test case management tool, when we go through the requirements section, we see that that requirement is under highlighted with blue color or green color, saying it is passed or it is covered. Means all the test cases related to that one is passed. Okay. In the same way, when we go to test case, we see each test case is mapped to a requirement. So we see that okay, if you don't, if a test case is not mapped to a requirement, there you will see the blank empty space in the requirement section in the test case. So which means we have not yet mapped. So we need to map it to some requirement and we need to make it pass. So without mapping and without making it pass, we cannot complete our testing. Okay, so this is the table requirement traceability matrix table template, what we can say. Here you will have the project name. Okay, project name, who prepared this traceability matrix and when it is prepared. So here the traceability id will be there, like uh, td underscore 01. Requirement id will be there, rd 01. So what is the requirement description? What are the test scenarios we have prepared? Test scenario means we don't write description of all the test scenarios. Test scenario ID TS01, test case ID TS1, TC1, like that. So TC1 means here as we have seen, each test case will map here, and the test case description we write here. So this is a requirement traceability matrix, right? This is a requirement traceability matrix. Any questions on RTC, RTM document? Are we clear? Just drop a message in chat box if you are clear. Okay. So that I'll understand you are on track. Good, thank you. So next is RCN. So RCN means, so here you have seen the in entry criteria. In entry criteria, we have seen that RCN document is required. What is RCN document? RCN document is okay. By whom this matrix is defined? QA engineer. So I have mentioned here, right? See here, test manager, QA. So what we do, see, what a tester will do is, so these requirements, actually it was a very good question actually. So when we go for a, 1 second, I'll explain you. Yeah. So in this document, if you see these requirements are there. So this requirement R1 in the test management tool, say for example, Q test is there. Okay. Our manager or team lead, he will shortlist the requirements and he will write all the requirements in his in his test management tool. So for example, if you say this see, let me show you. So this is the requirement traceability matrix. So what he will do is like he will write here TD11 traceability ID, okay, and he will mention the requirement ID RQ underscore 01, and he will write the requirement description, okay, login functionality, login user login, okay. This is manager's role to write till here, okay. What is your role? Test scenario number, test case ID, and test case description. Here test case description is this one, okay. Here test case one is valid valid user id, valid next to test case 2. You need to write these columns, okay. Scenario, test case id, test description, you need to write. If in if you are using excel sheet, if you are using tool like Q test or ALM, there what happens is like their requirements would be written by the manager or lead, he will mention in the requirements column will be there, and you need to write test cases in your test case section, test design section, and there will be a column to map require test cases and requirements. So you need to map it. Map it means like from drop down you will select. So when you write a test case ID. So here, for example, requirements is there. Multiple requirements are there. Here, when you select the from drop down RQ1, here from here when you filter select the drop down, there will be multiple test case numbers will be there like TC01, 02, 03. You will just map it. So you once you map it, it will be mapped. Okay. So matrix is defined by both testing manager or team lead and our tester. Okay, testers perspective or testers role here in matrix table is scenarios, test case ID, test description. Manager role is or lead role is to find out the requirements and allocate the requirements, add the requirements in the table or in the tool what we are using. Okay, clear? Good question actually. Next is requirement clarification note. So what is this requirement clarification note is? So now we are going through the documents, BRS document, SRS document, or say functional requirement document. You got an idea, you got a doubt. So in requirements, in this functional requirements, what they have mentioned is uh, just they have mentioned that login test the login functionality, use login button. So they have not clearly mentioned that whether we need to add the uh, text on the login button as login or sign in. They have not mentioned that one. So you have a doubt. See whether you should check it as a login or check it as a sign in. There is no clarity. Developer he understands something and he has written as sign in or sign in he has kept, but you should be more clear whether it is a login or sign in. Okay, so for that, what you will do is like you will go through this document, uh, RCN document, requirement clarification note document, and here you will write the serial number, requirement specification number. For requirements, some specifications will be there, RQ01 like that. So what is the clarification you require? You will mention here. So whether it is a login button or sign in button, the text should be login or sign in. Okay. Then uh, the manager or some concerned person will provide the clarification on this, like it should be login only, so no sign in. Okay, then he will write his name and he will provide the date when he has provided the clarification on the requirement what you have asked. Okay, so by going through this you will have a clear idea. So when a developer has kept it as sign in, text as sign in, then you can raise a defect like as per the requirement document it is sign in, it is login, but you have mentioned sign in, so please update it, please fix the defect. Okay, you can mention it. So if you also don't have an idea, then it will be a big problem. Customer may be expecting the login and the developer has kept a sign in and something is happening. So by the time when the product comes, he sees that it is a sign in and login. He is requires sign in, login. You are showing sign in. So there is a mismatch, right? So you need to be very clear. You need to read each and every line of the requirement document. See, a tester should read. I'm once again multiple times I'm repeating. A tester should read each and every line of the requirement document. You should not just ignore it, saying it is as a document. You can do it while testing. Each and every line should be read and understand, so that you will have a clear idea. Okay. So this session will end. So we log in again with the same ID and password. Okay. So you're clear about requirement clarification note, RTM, RCN, requirement phase. Okay. Now we will go through BRS, SRS, FRS documents and what is the difference between those documents and how they will write those documents. All those things we will see now.